Today we're going to play Sid Meier's Civilization 7, the latest Civilization game. We're going to take a small nation state, turn it into an economic and military powerhouse, and finally go through all the ages of the game to the very end, and finally win a military conquest victory. This video should show off pretty much everything the new Civilization game has to offer, so sit down, buckle up, and let's dive in. In Civ 7, we no longer just choose our civilization, instead we pick a leader and then we also pick a civilization. As the game goes on, it will be split into 3 ages. The first age, Age of Antiquity, which is basically the Greco-Roman period. The second age, the Age of Exploration, which starts at the early medieval and goes on until basically the Renaissance. And finally, the Modern Age, which is the beginning of the Industrial Revolution up to the 20th century. In each of these ages, we will be getting a different civilization to play with. At the start with Xerxes, we're going to be the Persians. Xerxes gives us some extra bonuses that will help us throughout the game for winning a military victory. We're going to get +3 combat strength for all units when they're attacking in neutral or enemy territory, forcing us to go on the aggressive. Every time we capture a settlement for the first time, we'll get some gold and some culture. These both work in very similar ways to previous games, allowing us to buy units and get civics. On top of that, we are an economic nation. Every nation Xerxes leads will get +10% gold in all settlements, and that will be doubled for all settlements not founded by us, meaning the settlements we go out and conquer will be extra productive. If that wasn't enough, we'll get +1 settlement limit per age, which will allow us to hold together a much larger empire than other nations would be able to. Before we dive in, I do need to say a special thank you for 2K for not only giving us early access to Civilization 7, but also sponsoring this video. If you'd like to get your hands on Civilization 7 and also support this channel, you can do so by following the link down in the description below. With that out of the way, let's dive in. If you've ever played a Civilization game before, you'll know the first thing you have to do is found your capital city. In Civ 7, we only start with a settler unit called a founder here. You'll notice, a little bit different to other Civ games, our founder actually has HP and has a defensive strength. I think this means that other settler type units we're going to get later on also have defensive strength and HP, so we don't necessarily have to protect them quite as rigorously as we had to do in previous games. We really want to have sources of water. Civ 7 has some really cool new water features. We've got rivers. Rivers no longer run on the outside of hexes. They now run through the middle of hexes. And we also have something a little different. Here we have a large river. This river is actually navigable, so we have to embark units if we want to move land units onto this tile, or these 3 tiles, and also naval units will be able to move up these tiles. If this river goes out to what I believe is a lake here, and then if that lake feeds on out into the ocean, it's possible for someone out in the ocean somewhere out here to be able to use a naval unit to come from the sea all the way to our first city. Let's found Parsa, our capital. It's right near to water. That's very important for increasing our happiness. And this is now the cultural center of the Persian people, at least for this age. We're going to be getting some resources from Parsa: food to feed our people, production to build special buildings, train units, build wonders, and science to get more science income. I'm going to start out by building a scout first thing. This is a civilian pathfinder, ideal for revealing locations and discovering new things. Here is our scout unit. Let's go and find out if there's anything cool out there. If we have to move onto a river tile, so if there's water here, the Zayande River, then that will use up all of our remaining movement. Normally our scouts start with 2, just like our other units, but going onto rough terrain, or as I said, water, will slow us down immensely. Just to the south of our area, we do have a wool resource. That's basically some sheep. We've got some marble as well as some silver. Next, we have to choose our first technology to research. We're starting with agriculture, which gives us access to the granary building and also +1 food for all of our farms. The tech tree might look a little bit different to previous Civilization games you've played before. We only have technologies here for the current age we are in, which is the Age of Antiquity. If we can get to the end of the tech tree, we can start unlocking some future tech, which gives us a boost when starting in the next age. So I think I'm going to choose the animal husbandry. That's going to give us additional food on pasture so we can grow a little bit faster, as well as some production on any camps or woodcutters we make. We've built that scout. Now let's look at building a granary. When we're placing buildings, we're not actually going to put them in our capital anymore, and we're also not going to build specific districts like we had in Civ 6. Now in Civilization 7, we're going to build urban districts on empty tiles that don't have a resource on outside of our capital. The granary is something called a warehouse food building. We could build that on the capital, but I think I'd like to place it here on the top right corner of our city. When this urban district has finished building its granary, which will be done in about 7 turns, we're actually going to get access to all of the space here as well for further expansion. It's going to expand our borders. Border expansion and settlement growth is entirely different. Now let's grow our city. Our population has just hit 2 at the capital. I can now choose to grow the city. With this choice, I am basically expanding upon this settlement. I can now take one of these tiles and either put a farm down on these 2, that's what the little chicken here is. I can put down a fishing boat in the large navigable river, or I can put down a mine. The farm's going to give us 2 food, which should mean we grow ever so slightly faster. And by placing this farm, you'll also notice we get access, like I said before, to more tiles around the city. The city grows, the people grow, and our territory grows. Every single member of this city, every population has to live somewhere, be that on a farm or maybe in an urban district or that sort of thing. And that means you can directly see how big cities are by looking at their map footprint now. I think that's a lot of fun. To our southeast, we've now discovered a scout from an independent nation. Independent nations are somewhat like barbarians from previous games. These are going to be roaming around the map, spawning in a certain location, but unlike barbarians, we can be friendly towards them and make them our allies. In fact, this scout from the village of Tyra is actually friendly, so maybe we can go and find it and make them our friends. Finding a cairn here gives us some interesting choices. We can either stay a while and get some culture, or we can leave a gift for future travelers. I think we'll stay a while and get the culture bonus. Jumping back to our capital, we've expanded out now to that wool resource and claimed it. Setting up a pasture on the wool not only gives us the 2 production bonus for the tile, but we're also getting the wool resource, which is going to be allocated to our capital, giving us a further 2 production as well as 2 happiness. That's a very, very profitable tile. Throughout Civilization 7, you're going to be going through some narrative quests. On starting a shepherding community here, we've reached the Ovine Dilemma. Our shepherd communities keep sacred horses that no one may ride on pain of grievous punishment. All well and good until a shepherd has to find lost sheep on foot, and the only explanation for his tired legs is the old ways. I don't know what either of these options are going to do, but both continue the story. We are going to choose to question the old doctrines because maybe science is important. We've just hit 3800 BC, and that has now unlocked the civics tree. Just like Civilization 6, we have a research tree and a civics tree. Unlike the previous version of this game, the civics tree is very, very short. And depending on our civilization, we get access to some unique civics that we can research. Sparta giving us -1 maintenance for all units, which is very, very good. Satrapies giving us access to our unique building and a wonder, and if we master this civic, we'll also get +1 settlement limit, going all the way up to the Achaemenid Empire. We can get lots of gold for every civilization we capture a settlement from, and more settlement limit, alongside combat strength for units in enemy territory with Shahansha. In order to access the social policies our civics give us, we now need to choose a government type. I'm going to pick despotism for the additional science, alongside that great bonus to infantry training on my units. There is only one god, and he is Xerxes, the God King. Let's also get some tool making going in the capital. This will be our first policy. We have a choice between that or charismatic leader, which would give us more culture. I want to push down the science path a little bit more and raise our production. We're going to finish the granary straight away. After that, I'm going to start queuing up some warriors. Why am I queuing up some warriors? Well, we've met some scouts from the village of Schengel, and they are hostile. Not good at all. Let me introduce a new concept to you as well. That is the legacy concept. So, legacies basically give us a series of quests for economic, military, cultural, and scientific purposes. As we complete them, we're going to unlock some bonuses, which will carry over into future ages. This also builds up age progression. When we get to 100%, or anyone else gets to 100%, the age will basically be over. Our military quest is to study the civic discipline. Once we've done that, we'll get some more quests, building armies, units, training siege things, capturing enemy settlements, culminating all the way up to having 12 town or cities in our empire and conquering at least 2 of them. Our cultural quest is to basically build some wonders, and when we get far enough through, you'll see we unlock cultural legacy points here, or militaristic legacy points, or science legacy points, or economic legacy points that will have an impact on our next age. These legacies improve our performance in later ages. We can also see what rank we are at the moment compared to everyone else that we've met. So far, we've basically met no one though. I say that, we've now met Frederick Baroque of the Roman Empire. So there's the Achaemenids and the Romans. Wow, the AI is producing a lot more culture than we are. That's probably something we should deal with. Don't forget that in Civilization 7, you will pick your leader, but we are going to be changing our civilization throughout the game. So that is why we have a German here, Frederick the Great, who is in charge of the Roman Empire. Eventually, he'll probably end up being the Prussians much later on in the game. We don't want to be too hostile at this stage, so I think we're going to issue a friendly greeting. We can attempt to improve upon this by opening our borders. Meanwhile, back at our capital, we are growing again. You'll notice there's some weird locked bits here. That is basically because we don't have to have our population living rural lives on farms and in mines and things like that. Later on, we'll be able to increase our population in the city centers. For now, I definitely want the happiness and additional food benefit of a farm up to the north, so I think I'm going to take that. The Romans have invited us to share a cultural exchange. If we spend some of our resource, which is accumulated influence, spending 40, we could get +6 culture per turn, but they will also get +6 culture. On the other hand, if we simply accept, we'd only get 2 and they would get 4, or we could reject, costing again influence but not as much as supporting. That would damage relationships though, and we don't actually want to damage relationships at this early stage. I want to focus on building out our initial Persian Empire before we go looking at conquest. So we're going to support this for a big bonus to our culture income. And that has brought us up to 16, while they are quite high now on 24. We're now being asked to accept military aid. If we had the influence to spend, I could give us a combat bonus to every unit. I can't do that. I don't want to make our relationship worse. So instead, I'm actually just going to take the 2 gold per turn and say thank you very much, Frederick. That does make them stronger, but at the moment we're not at war, so it's probably fine. I also think it's going to be a good idea at this point to start building a settler for a new city, so let's get that up and running. I found the village of Tyra. Now, if I double click on them, we have 2 projects we can complete if, and this is an important point here, if we had enough influence. We don't yet, but we are trying to accumulate more. If we had 115, I could make them a city-state where I would be their suzerain, which is very good. It makes them not aggressive. We'll basically be civilizing the barbarians. On the other hand, I could incite a raid, getting them to attack another civilization.
The land is always stalking people. The land makes people live right. The land looks after us. The land looks after people.
Lovely to see Brienne of Tarth here, who is, of course, helping us discover this natural wonder. I am not even going to attempt to pronounce that, but it would be quite a nice thing to bring inside of our empire. It's going to give happiness, lots of food, and a bit of culture. Just on the outskirts of Tyra, we've encountered the hostile Shengal villager again. Our warriors are now attacking them, and hopefully we'll get rid of them pretty soon. I'm assuming that if we kill off this scout, they won't know where we live, but maybe they will. We'll just have to wait and see. Completing Mysticism has just unlocked a new pantheon for us. We have a host of choices available. We could pick the God of War for more military production early on. I think, though, I'd like to get the growth rate increased in all cities with an altar, so I am going to pick that. And then take the narrative choice to teach everybody about some harvest rites, giving us a little bit more culture. Apparently, the large lead that the Romans have on us means we are trailing now in civics. The game has just informed me that we need to do better, and honestly, I'm trying, okay? We are trying our very best. Completing Discipline has completed the first quest in our military tree. Next up, we have to get another military unit and then assemble them all into an army. Armies are brand new, don't worry, we're going to go over them very soon. That now leaves us with a choice of what to look at next in the civic tree. Civics and research are definitely quite different now in Civilization 7 because not only can you research something once, but you can then attempt mastery of it. That generally doesn't take very long compared to going up to the next level in the tree, and usually comes with some pretty good bonuses. For example, here, Mastery of Discipline could give us +3 combat strength against all independent powers. And actually, I think that's something I'd like to do. but I think I want to go for Code of Laws here, just trying to push up in this tree. The other thing that Discipline has given us is a brand new general unit. Generals can form armies. How does that work? Basically, you assemble an army by picking up any warriors or anyone else lying around, and then you stack them. At the moment, we can get up to 4 units in an army. When an army is assembled, it moves together much faster than the individual units and only takes up a single hex. When we arrive and want to attack, we then need to deploy our army units, but doing that often leaves them with no movement points left, so they then can't attack. Unless we manage to take the assault one doctrine, which we've actually already got to, which is initiative, that's going to grant us the ability to instantly move after unpacking from the commander, making Hazard Apatis here a very, very good general. On top of that, we've also got some military commands we can issue to all units in range, and as we level up this general, any unit within the control zone here will benefit from some of the special abilities we might get, like Rout for +2 combat strength. We place down our first town. Towns are like cities. They use food that expand them onto nearby tiles. However, we actually can't build anything here with production. Buildings and units in this town can only be purchased with gold. And as we get more gold, we can spend it to turn the town into a fully fledged city later on. Right now, it would cost us 400 gold, which is way more than we've got in the treasury to turn this into a city, so I won't do that. Instead, we're going to put a plantation down here and grab some of this lovely wine, which can go to our capital and give us +2 happiness and 10% culture when we're in celebration. With 115 accumulated influence saved up, I can now begin befriending Tyra to our southeast. It's going to take us about 10 turns. First, they will convert to a city-state, and then we become their suzerain. To the north, though, our warrior is currently struggling against some nasty barbarians. Let's fortify there, and I'm going to spend some of our gold here to purchase another warrior, which we can then use in a moment to help this one. Incidentally, this also seems to lead us on to the King of Kings. By befriending Tyra, we're getting a city-state bonus here, a suzerain bonus. I think we're going to take the gemstones here for +4 production and 5% more gold in the capital. That's a nice, hefty little bonus that's basically like getting an additional building. Looking at our neighbors, our research is actually doing fine, but I wouldn't mind getting just a little bit more culture. So with that in mind, instead of taking Mastery of Writing, which would give us a Codex, which is extra science, we'll look at those later, and more science on science buildings, not that we have any of those yet, I'm going to take Masonry, which will unlock the Monument for us. That also gives us more influence, which is definitely a good thing. Our latest civic advancement has unlocked a cool new policy, Tara. This one is unique only to us, the Persians. That's the civilization, not the leader, by the way. And that's granting a whopping +50% production towards training infantry units. This is very, very strong, very powerful. We've also met Jose Rizal, who I believe is currently leading the Aztecs. I'm going to issue him a friendly greeting and then just kind of get on with it. So we now have 6 units in our entire military, 4 around the capital, 1 in our southern settlement, and 1 in our western settlement. Next up, I need to assemble a full army of 4. We have 4 units around this general. If I do the assemble army action, he's going to suck up all of the units that have any movement left. This unit here didn't actually have any movement, so we couldn't assemble with it. But next turn, we're going to pop them in, and then we're going to have a full army of 4, unlocking the next part of this Pax Imperatoria. After Masonry, I did dive into the Mastery of Writing. This has unlocked the Codex. Codexes are great works that can be displayed in our palace and other places and grant us a straight-up +2 science. Very, very nice in this lizard's opinion. Welcome to 2330 BC. With 243 accumulated influence, it's now time to incorporate Tyra. It's going to take me 6 turns, and then we'll be going up to 4 cities. Very close to our limit of 5. I have 1 scout here going south to get a 5th city, but I am looking at organized military right now. When I complete that in 12 turns, we'll get access to another settlement slot. This limit, the 3 out of 5 limit here, is actually a soft cap. We can have more cities than this, however we do so, we're going to get some massive debuffs across our entire nation to happiness. Happiness is a very important metric. If we have below 0, the city will start revolting and could even flip to another empire. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, the Persian Empire does not like traitors. Combining drills with Kara is giving us a massive 80% bonus now to producing any units. I've not actually started making units yet, but we're going to build up a massive army and obliterate whichever one of our neighbors upsets us the most. Oh, one of our neighbors has taken a city right next to us. I'm finding that upsetting, but it's all right. It's all right. We're at our settlement limit. That's okay. Everything's all right. We've also completed our first milestone here, the economic one, and we've gained access to an economic legacy point, putting us in first place there. We're first place on military and economic legacy.
The canal water gushes from above into the gardens. Fragrance pervades the walkways. Streams of water as numerous as the stars of heaven flow in the pleasure garden.
We haven't even hit 2000 BC yet, but the Persians now have the Hanging Gardens, not in Babylon, but in Parsa, which is pretty great as well. Alongside that, we've unlocked the bronze working technology, giving us access to our unique unit, the Immortal. This is what I've been waiting for before building up a military, the likes of which the world has never known. With all of our bonuses here, it's going to take us only a single turn to build any of these Immortals. Start with a ranged unit, and then we're just going to get an absolutely massive army. We also got a leader bonus here, so as you unlock those legacies, you'll get bonuses that apply to your leaders. These are very, very useful because they unlock basically special abilities we get access to that will last throughout our game. Despite our great Hanging Gardens, the gods are not smiling down upon us. A squall has come in, and I think it's damaged our garden over there. Yeah, that's not good. Let's see if we need to actually do anything about it. Or maybe not. But what it has done is it's pushed off these boats that were in our coastal lake here. And yeah, they're now going to have to go out to sea, I hope. Beautiful. Building Petra has actually meant we've constructed 2 separate wonders. There's the Hanging Gardens right behind. They're beautiful as well, aren't they? And that means we've completed another age objective. This was the Culture Age objective. We get +3 age progression here, and we're going to get some legacy points. Along our northern border, the Roman legions line up. That's pretty not good for us. Luckily, I am building ballistae here. We've got a large army on our western front. I think we can go and take whichever city is over here next to this lovely natural wonder. To help with that, I'm going to convert Agmatana over here into our very first city outside of the capital. That now means we can actually use the production here to build things, which is very, very useful. Though I do want to make sure this city doesn't fall, so I'm going to build an ancient wall around the city center. We're in the middle of denouncing Frederick. I think that's important to do. If we declare war without denouncing them, it would be a surprise war. And yeah, we can't start formal wars without having a hostile relationship, so we need to get there. War support will be important as well, so we kind of need to sort out all of these little bits and pieces. All right, we really hate each other now. I think at this point we can declare a formal war. Let's do it. We can also open the war details and support our war further. Giving us more war support gives them war weariness and reduces their military abilities should they actually come to face us on the field of battle. We have built a very defensive front line here. There's lots of, and I really do mean a lot of fortifications. From this line, I'm going to start by sending my general forwards, I think. We're going to start with an attack. Due to the war weariness of the enemy and all the massive bonuses we're getting here, we have 38 combat strength against their measly 27. That is from having some iron, the bronze working technology, having the Hamarana Council, +2 from Rout, and +3 from Crusher of Rebellions. That's the trait our lovely leader has. And having Shingle now as our suzerain, yes, they were unhappy, but we plied them with love, gifts, and attention, gives us another +1. So we can start tussling with the legionaries by sending our immortals in. And if you're enjoying this video, please civilize that like button. The Roman legionary has run away, and instead they brought up a chariot. We're going to hit them with ballistae. Not massively effective, but well, honestly, it's better than nothing. And we should be able to kill off this unit, granting us some more HP back onto our unit because Immortals have a special bonus. Whenever they destroy a unit, we get some health back, allowing us to go on the offensive in a very, very aggressive way. I think we're now ready to begin unpacking, so we'll get everybody out of this general. From there, we can begin to surround this town. They have an army that's not excellent, but we can deal with it. The Romans brought up an archer from the south. We've used our immortal that was slightly wounded alongside our backline artillery to kill it, but they've shifted and pivoted. The legatus has run back to the capital, and the southern side is still somewhat defended, though I'm not really sure if this unit in the middle of thin air exists. There's a lot of attacks going along on this entire front line. The battle is massive. We've got some gaps here. Our right flank is entirely pretty much undefended, but that's fine. We'll be fine. Temporary fortifications are going up all over the place. They are helping us to defend somewhat, I believe, though honestly I don't really know exactly what their efficacy is like. We're in range of Rome. We're going to start bombing it with ballistae, but everything else needs to focus on some of these backline units. We have to hold the line. That is the imperative here. Killing off this unit should enable us, yes, to get a good health bonus back. We're now kind of outside of where we want to be. Not great. I'm going to pull back my archer here, which is just starting to get a little bit out of the way. We've built temporary fortifications next to Burdigala as well, though these forests are being very annoying. Back home, the capital is pumping out chariots at a rate of 1 per turn. That's excellent. Honestly, I don't think we could ask for better. Let's start with the artillery. There are certain units that have to shoot at others, so we'll begin there. The archers here kill off that chariot. Yes, our unit will still hold in position because we started the attack with it, but it didn't kill them off, so it's remaining here within our defensive fortification line. Meanwhile, the ballistae could deal damage against Roma or attempt to kill off these folks. I think, actually, we'll bring the Immortal in to kill them, but we didn't quite make it. That's really unfortunate, because now the Immortal's not going to get a health bonus. They're sat out there in the dark. This Immortal, though, can finish off the chariot. Nope, it was a Legatus. I'm sorry, I got it wrong. Oh, nuts. There goes the Legatus, dead as a doornail. Our remaining units around can hunt down and kill the army with impunity. One of the cool new features that we've got in this game now is rocky outcrops. I'm not entirely sure that's what they're called, but basically, areas of tiles are now inaccessible to other tiles. We're slightly higher up here on this tile than they are on the 2 tiles next to us, and to get there, we'd actually have to go around in either direction. Oh wow, no, this rocky outcrop grows 2 tiles along, meaning this very badly damaged unit is actually entirely safe from the Legion over here. Rome and Burdigala are probably about to fall. Frederick, aka the Romans, deeply unhappy with us at the moment, but that's not our problem, because we're going to bombard the living crap out of their stuff. So close, maybe one more unit will do it. And there we go. Oh my goodness me, we've earned a militaristic legacy point, a legacy option for the next stage, and a legacy option for the next stage, both expansion and militaristic attribute points. Wow. We've also, because we've built 5 walls, unlocked the Norman civilization and improved 3 silk, so we've unlocked the Ming. Conquering Roma now leaves us with a choice. We can either keep it or raise it. I want to keep it. That was Roma, the northern city. Let's deal with the southern city and then try and work out where we are with what's left. Our militaristic attribute can be used to give us either +5 combat strength against independent powers and city-states, or 1 free war support in all of our wars. Extra war support when we start wars is amazing. Taking Burdigala here has given us another age objective complete. We're now up to level 2. We've now grabbed 2 of these bonuses here, and we're definitely not going to be going to a militaristic dark age. No siree. Actually, we're not going into a dark age on anything. If we can just capture 1 more city and found another, I think that'll be enough to get us up to the very top here. As we reach the end of the first age, we begin a crisis. The great civilizations of the world have risen, and in their rise, others too ascend. Once metalworking, agriculture, and the growth of cities were limited to points on the landscape, now these are commonplace in all but the most remote corners of the world. Those once thought barbarians now lay equal claim to the mantle of civilization, and the learning of the city centers extends far beyond the boundaries of the known world. With this comes the question: why are you ascendant and we are not? This basically means we're going to get access to crisis policies now. These suck, but we have to put one in there. Yeah, I'm going to go with inferior tactics and hope we just don't have to face any independent nations. Probably fine, question mark. At this point now, I think we should propose a peace deal. This is to end the War of the Grassland. Our ally has gone to war with someone, which means we're now at war with someone as well. We're in a war with the Maya on behalf of the Khmer Empire. That's Tecumseh. We're almost ready as well to declare a second war of conquest here against Rome. We've built some temporary defenses. These temporary defenses grant us an additional +6 combat bonus when we are defending. So we can now declare war on Rome and then use our artillery and our archers on the back line to rain hellfire down on the Romans. I don't think they're going to see this coming. Increasing our war support there to 5 means that the enemy is really weary from war before it's even begun. We'll bring our commander forwards to get a strategic position here on this rough grassland. Still, of course, in our fortification structure. That's one unit down. We'll see what the Romans do in response in a moment. On the western side, I think I'm just going to pull back with my cavalry a little bit. And the same should be true of my immortal here. I think we'll take the artillery and set it up on the western side of this bank here. That's a really good defense, because in order to get to us, they'll have to first embark onto this wide river and then debark or disembark to attack us on the western side of the river. I don't think they'll be able to do that effectively, so I think we'll be all right. We've annihilated more legionaries and pushed further towards Neapolis. I think it's time to abandon our defensive fortifications. We don't need them anymore. What we do need is, well, it's Neapolis. Once I take that city, I'll only need one more point. I can get that by either capturing a city or founding a city, or bringing a city under my control. Speaking of which, I could try to incorporate Schengel up here in the north. And then we'll be unlocking a golden age for our great conquests. Just on the next turn, the entire thing has fallen, which is so good for us. We're now up to 8 cities, the most on our continent, and I'm very proud of our lovely Persian people. We've surrounded Ravenna. The age is almost over. The crisis is almost complete. We're taking some really big negatives, and age progress is almost at 100%. We are at 8 out of 8 possible cities, meaning that if we take Ravenna here, the city we've now surrounded, yes, we will unlock the military golden age, but it could cause some nasty repercussions. I also think this will make the age end, but you know what? We're just going to attack anyway. Oh wow, Batavium actually fell to the Israelites. That's quite worrying for the Romans. Uh-oh. Well, we accidentally grabbed Batavium instead. That's fine. We stole it from the Israelites, who stole it from the Romans, and I guess we've now liberated this strip of land over here. Fine. To be honest, it's much nicer than Ravenna, which is all snow-locked. This is nice. There's lots of grassland. Some of it is on fire. Yes, Batavium is very much slightly on fire, but overall, it's a fixer-upper, okay? We'll redo the walls. It'll be perfect. But the important thing is we have completed every objective here. Pax Imperatoria legacy points is up to 13 because we pretty much wiped out the Roman Empire. Therefore, I think we can declare peace now. Peace in our time. With the progress meter completely full, the first age is now ending, and we're about to enter age transition to make way for the second age, the age of exploration. In Civilization 7, history is built in layers. Progress often comes with setbacks. All of the settlements we control at the age transition and our Persian traditions will form the foundation that we will continue to build upon, but only our capital will retain its status as a city. Buildings and improvements other than wonders and unique buildings, unique quarters and unique improvements will persist, but most buildings will generate reduced yields. Yes, the wonders are actually going away. A whole load of gameplay things are changing, and yeah, we're just moving on into the next age now. The age of antiquity is over.
The time of the orc has come.
Few others could match the Persian strength, fewer their courage, and none their glory.
All right, we got a lot of rewards during this age that is going to stack up quite nicely into the next stage, I'm pretty sure. In terms of our rankings, we were there for Pax Imperator, and basically on top in every other metric we can see. We've got a nice report here, giving us some FXP. Yeah, no idea what that does yet, but I'm sure we'll figure that out later. We now have to choose which civilization we are going to become. A bunch of them are locked because we've not actually done the prerequisites to get them. Either we had to have a certain civilization we were playing as in the previous age, or have a certain leader. So, our lands could become the Abbasid, i.e. the Persians turning into kind of other Persians, I suppose. These folks have some great bonuses. The madrasa and the mosque can go together, and we can get the ulema, as well as getting Mamluk cavalry and Alim. We could also take the Incas and the Ming, allowing us to build the Great Wall for loads and loads of culture. We could take the Mongolians. They get a unique army commander, and the Keshig, which again is very good for conquest. Last but by no means least, we could become the Normans. The Normans get access to Mots and Baileys, which when put together become the Donjon. I think I'm butchering that word. And they also get special knight units, the Chevalier. I swear that's Chevalier. I want to go on the aggressive, but I also want to get lots of science and other bonuses. So I think we're going to change into the Abbasid. Once we've chosen our next civilization, the game has to load up again, and then we emerge into the age of exploration. We have new abilities. We can explore the great oceans in search of distant lands. Our naval units can now heal in coastal waters. We can also establish settlements on distant lands, meet those new civilizations, and gather resources to enrich our empire back home. And then we can embrace a religion by building a temple. With a religion in place, we can train missionaries to spread our faith across the globe. We also get access to a brand new tech tree with brand new techs. Right at the end of this age, we'll be getting gunpowder, urban planning, architecture, and metal casting. Early on, though, we basically don't have much. Astronomy is going to give us access to observatories for extra science, so I think I want to start off with that. With the age of exploration beginning, we need to choose our legacies. We've got a whole host to choose from here, and we've got certain points. 2 scientific, 2 cultural, 3 military, and 2 economic. There are some wildcard policies we can change, like changing the capital. We could move the capital from Parsa to Pathragada or to Hagmatana. I think Hagmatana, given its central location in the empire, would be a good choice for a new capital. So I'm going to pick change capital. That will rename the capital to Baghdad as well, which I think is a little bit more thematic. Looking at our legacies, we definitely need the additional settlement limit, so I'm going to pick fealty. And I think I'd like to grab an expansionist point. We've confirmed our legacies. That's given us a whole host of additional points. Let's go in and spend them. So what can we get? We can get more happiness in all of our cities, or more... I think actually I want the influence. Yeah, influence sounds good. Economic benefits we can get. Let's see. I'm going to get +1 gold on resources in towns. And I think plus 15% gold towards purchasing in all settlements. Jumping over to expansionist now. Let's get +1 food per age on warehouse building and 1 population in towns. New towns start with an additional population. Last but not least, I can grab some scientific stuff. Let's grab plus 25% towards tech mastery and +1 science for every resource assigned. That should give us quite a healthy lead at the start here. Yeah, we're going to get lots of additional research and culture, putting us basically on par with our ally, but far ahead of the Romans, who are no longer the Romans. They are now the Spanish. Jose is now Hawaii, and Tecumseh is now the Shawnee. Apologies again if I'm butchering any of these names. It's not intentional. As the Abbasid people have plans for new buildings, we may not want to create more urban quarters. In Exploration and Beyond, you can choose to build atop an existing but outdated building by overbuilding. While overbuilding doesn't have particular benefits now, we can find some social policies, civil abilities, and more that make overbuilding especially efficient. Now it's time to choose a government type. Government type is going to have different effects during a celebration. Might have said something wrong earlier about that, but yes, this is the way it works. So when we get excess happiness build up, we get a celebration. This is basically picking which celebrations will be available to us. I think we should go with a feudal monarchy, actually. Jumping over to the civics tree now, either go with economics to get merchants up and running again, or piety, allowing us to unlock temples. I think we should go for piety. No, we should go for round city so we get the mosque. Combining a mosque and a madrasa is going to first off unlock a religion for us with the mosque, and then with the madrasa we're also going to get loads and loads of research. On the eastern side from Tyre, we're moving out with an exploration ship into the deep, dark oceans. This is dangerous, it's going to slow us down and hurt our ship every turn, but maybe we can find some new lands out there. Oh, thank goodness, it's a short journey to another coast. That should be alright then. We've got lots of cash, so I am going to upgrade a couple of places into brand new cities for us. Definitely Roma is one of those places that deserves to be upgraded, so let's grab that one too. Ah, the Spanish already have tercios, and we've only got swordsmen and bowmen. This might be very, very dangerous. Uh-oh. Let's try and make some better friends back home, shall we? Oh, no. We've actually just made an enemy instead. That's not great. Okay, oof. Astronomy and then cartography. We've unlocked both of those. This means we can not only explore out into those deep oceans with our ships, but now we can send settlers over there to settle on those distant lands. If we took feudalism, that would grant us another settlement. We don't quite need another settlement just yet. So instead, I think let's go for mastery on cartography to get more food everywhere. Trying to place districts now can actually be something of a challenge because I kind of want to overbuild, but I'm not entirely sure which buildings I'm overbuilding here. and what kind of impact that's going to have on the outputs. We built our first temple-like building. I think actually we built the unique building for us, the Abbasids. We now have a religion. Hinduism already occupies 4% of the world. We have Islam. That's founded by Augustus somewhere else. I think it's quite funny actually that there is an Augustus out there, but they weren't Rome in the first age. We can get our reliquary belief, which is going to give us some relics, and then we can choose a founder belief. I've got plenty of gold. I think I kind of want the happiness though. Yeah, let's go with, ooh, maybe though, maybe not. Maybe actually the culture is a better fit for us. In this age, we have 3 civic trees to look through: the exploration civics, the theology civics, and of course our unique civics for being the Abbasid, which gives +1 science to all specialists in the city. The founding of Al-Fustat here gives us a foothold to the new world and the new continent. It also unlocks some of our legacy path. We're completing objectives at a rate hitherto unseen. Distant lands, these distant lands we're trying to colonize, also have different resources to our homelands. After enough time, a treasure fleet can be loaded with these resources to take them home. We must improve 5 treasure resources and wait for a treasure fleet to spawn in a settlement, and then we're going to have a lot of fun. I believe we've just met somebody new. We've met the Mongols, and our friend and ally Tecumseh is also here in the New World with a cog. That's slightly worrying. Well, the Mongols don't seem particularly friendly, but I am hopeful we can bring them on side. Jumping back into the tech tree here, we've just researched feudalism. That gives us +1 settlement limit and the inn building. Not that we really need inns. I'm next going to go for guilds, then afterwards we'll try and take education. I'm grabbing education because that's actually one of the next steps in enlightenment for the science goal. Ah, and here is Augustus, the leader of the mighty, let's just check, Songhai. Interesting, very interesting. Inside of our Ulema, we've created our first Alim, which is basically a great person. We now need to train 3 more of these very quickly to win one of our objectives. Here is Ibn Sina, who was a renowned doctor, basically, before doctors really existed. He can create a hospital. Influence is that important resource we use not just to get city-states and that sort of thing, but also to get tax going. And the more of those we unload, the more points we're going to get. When we get enough points here, we can get up to a golden age for economics. Occasionally we're getting unhappiness issues. Luckily, I can quickly fix that through the building of temples. Temples not only provide a nice happiness buff here, but they also get additional happiness based on the warehouses we've got in this town. Warehouses are special buildings here like the Gristmal and the Saw Pit that provide bonuses based on the number of improvements of the same type that we have in a settlement. For example, granaries, which we get access to in the early game, get +1 food for every farm, plantation, or pasture. This is basically equivalent to giving all of our farms, plantations, and pastures +1 food. Missionaries are now flowing. Parsa is our old capital and the place where Islam was born. This is where we built our first mosque, but we've actually been pretty slow to build any missionaries. Checking out the religions, we've only got 6% of the world under our faith. Zoroastrianism, our allies in fact, Tecumseh, they have 21% of the world following their faith. We need to send out our missionaries and convert cities. It's a fairly easy task now. 1 zap from a missionary basically converts the entire population as far as I can tell. I can see what may be about to happen here. We're going to go out into the New World as we've been doing, probably conquer a civilization over there, and then in the next stage we'll have to face off against our ally to complete this world conquest. On the banks of Tyre, what was once a city-state, now a firm part of our territory, the first ever treasure fleet has arrived home. Let's click the button and see what it does. Wow, we got 2 treasure fleet points for those 2 new resources. That means we're a 5th of the way to completing this objective and 1/15 of the way to the final objective, which is just getting 30 treasure fleet points. I think exploration of the New World will require us to have a bit more of a foothold here. For that reason, I'm converting Al-Awaz into a city. I would like more production as well, so I think what we'll grab is a shipyard. And then I want to build a scout to go exploring. Most of our home cities, yep, they're now Islamic. We're pushing out into other cities now. Our ally, I think they could do with some of the great faith. We're now at 24%, pushing Zoroastrianism down to 18%. And oh boy, it feels good. Converting foreign cities as well gives us additional culture for each settlement following our new religion. Meanwhile, in the New World, another treasure fleet has been created and is being sent home. Placing down another specialist has completed the next step. We've actually not completed step 1 here in the Enlightenment path. We have done step 2, 2 specialists in a non-city center tile and a single non-city center tile yielding at least 20. And then the next one, one of them yielding at least 40. That's because we placed down a lot of extra specialists here, I believe, in Baghdad. We're going to need some relics so that we don't enter a dark age for culture in the final age. We do need to make sure we get to at least 10 treasure fleet points and have captured or built another settlement in the New World. In terms of science, we're already doing fine on that one. We cannot now be in a scientific dark age. It seems like we're not the only ones trying to settle this new world. Frederick has a settler here. This is just west of the old Roman heartland, what is now Spain. And yeah, we should probably do something about that. These are some very nice resources out here as well. I think maybe we want to get a settlement up and running over there. Either that or we're going to come in and take Frederick's. 45 turns into this new age, and we basically completed the research tree by really hounding research as the Abbasids. It's been crazy. We've managed to stack up to 300 here so quickly. I am going to research gunpowder, then we'll have the arquebusier, bombards, galleons, and we can just go ham on conquering whoever we want. Examining the resources in the New World, sugar, spices, cocoa, and tea, they all generate these important treasure fleets. I wanted to grab the resources over here. Unfortunately, the lovely sugar here is already taken by the Mongolians. Maybe that means we have to attack them, though I could be convinced just to settle some more cities down to the south here, grabbing more sugar, more spices, and all of that kind of stuff. Oh my goodness me, there's even more here than I expected. We've got 3 lots of sugar and a cocoa in range. Possibly, all we really need to do, though, is purchase a merchant and send a merchant over to do some trading. Ooh, our science is high at 328, but I think it could be higher. Unlocking one more science attribute here, we've kind of gone the whole way down the tree. We can either get 5% total science, which would be all right, or we can get +1 science on every quarter, or 10% science for every alliance. I think I'm going to take the 10% science because we do have an alliance, and that should boost us even higher. There, we've just hit 360. Oof, I love it. Gunpowder now is done and gives us that arquebusier, the bombard, and the galleon. Let's start pumping out some units and upgrading the units we currently have. We also have pikemen, but yeah, this is all very, very strong stuff. Completing a trade route in Taekwondo, which we've just done, hopefully gives us access to the sugar here, which should then give us some additional treasure fleet points. That's my hope. I think it'll be fine. That means we should get enough points to get to at least level 1 here out of that Darnable Dark Age. Welcome to 940 of the Common Age. The Abbasid Empire stretches from coast to coast of our main continent and has established quite a large foothold in the New World. What I want to draw your attention to is the navigability of these cool large rivers. We've just built a galleon in Parsa, which was our original capital a long time ago, but Parsa is actually pretty much landlocked. It is at least 5 tiles away from the nearest coast, and that is a long way outside of its building range. We are on a lake, and normally building a naval vessel on a lake would be pretty useless, but because these rivers are wide, I can actually get this galleon all the way out to the sea, and I think that's pretty fun. Bring in another 2 treasure fleet points. The New World has many wonders in it, not just the resources, also cool geological features. We've actually found the Grand Canyon. Very, very happy with that. Let's see what it does. So the Grand Canyon, if we were to get it inside of our territory, gives lots of happiness. Well, I was right about being happy. And also some culture as well, +2 science on flat terrain for the settlement as well. That is a really nice place. New World cities, yep, they are important. And Nishapur, well, it's been a city-state for far too long. We're going to now incorporate it and bring it into our rule. That should give us access to spices and silver, which will be providing more treasure fleets for us. But what we're about to run into here is a little bit of a nightmare. We have completely researched everything in the tech tree except for future technology. I've been holding off on this because when we complete a future technology, it's going to add +10 age progress, and that's really, really probably not good. Because if we get to the end of the age before we're out of the bottom of the economic and the culture track here for age progress, we are going to get dark ages. I don't want dark ages. Dark Ages are probably not great. For example, we'll get a legacy option here of plus 100% production and gold towards rail stations and ports, and plus 1 resource slot in all settlements, but we'll get minus 25% culture. Maybe producing close to 500 science 58 turns into the Second Age wasn't our greatest plan. Okay, we brought home the treasure fleet we need here to thankfully complete the economic objective. That is good, that is good. But as that treasure ship came home, we've just unlocked the end of the Exploration Age's crisis, the Death Ship. A ship is seen tacking to and fro outside the harbor where the wind will take it. The crew has died or abandoned it, but left expensive cargo from distant lands and rats. Before the harbour master can think to scuttle the ship, opportunistic looters from the shore have already carried off many things, some of which they did not intend. Either his divine punishment or divine mercy. I'm going to go with punishment. Plus 5 happiness in infected settlements that follow your religion. These settlements gain a migrant when infected. Alrighty. That doesn't sound too terrible. Madrid, the capital of Spain. By converting that one, well, we've just got ourselves a relic. Relics are great works. We need one more of these to not be in a cultural dark age. Why is that the case? Well, if you remember earlier, we chose as Islam to take the lay followers reliquary belief, meaning if we convert for the first time another civilization settlement with at least 10 rural population, we get a relic. Rural population, a population not working in urban areas. So the woodcutters, the mines, the farms, all of these are rural population. Madrid did have more than 10, so we got a relic. I need to find somewhere else with more than 10. I think Angkor Borai might be it, but also maybe it isn't. I've now noticed the error of my plan. I've been trying to run around and convert those cities like I just mentioned. However, had I taken a look at the Abbasid civics, I'd noticed that Mastery of Al-Jabbar would grant us the ability to build the House of Wisdom, which then gives us 3 relics and has 3 relic slots. That would have solved everything, honestly, Montu. There is future tech once. Let's do it again then. Here I am, preparing for a war in the New World, and I thought it was going to be with New World civilizations. Turns out it's back against good old Frederick. Techum say wants us to go in for it, and yeah, why not? Let's give it a crack. We do have a fully upgraded army here. I can grow across mountains with my army? That is amazing. Holy moly. Philatery. Oh goodness, I've just grabbed a suzerain, and they are going to give me a relic. That just sneaks me out of here. Up to the right number of relics. Come on. So display an Alwaz. Beautiful. Beautiful. Finally, I'm no longer panicking. We are not going to be in a dark age in the next age. Everything's going to be beautiful and fine and beautiful and fine. Something seems to be the matter in Parsa. I'm entirely not sure what it is. Maybe, I think we have some plague. I've used my physician. Not sure if that's going to fix it, but it might. We lost 12 population, 9 tiles gained fertility. That was bad. There's a dust storm. Okay, everything's kind of going wrong here. The world is falling apart. Plague is killing everybody. I'd like for this to stop. The plague, yeah, the plague is growing stronger. Brilliant. Of course it is. What else would it do? Let's make sure we've got physicians basically everywhere. We have hospitals that should be able to train these bad boys up, ready to deal with any more plague outbreaks. And I suspect there might be quite a few plague outbreaks. Frederick the Great is coming at us with knights. We've literally got guns. We're gonna just gun them to death, I suppose. You'll unpack both armies. Beautiful. And then we'll just charge and kill. Are these walls modern walls or ancient walls? I think they're ancient walls, but still potent. Okay. We have to get another crisis policy. Gain culture from when physicians treat the sick on a tile with a temple. All right, plague cults. Yeah, why not? Bam! There goes the knight down, thanks to a hail of gunfire and some sticky, pointy pikes. We have Mamluk cavalry and pikemen and guns, and I don't see how they can win. What is this? Another plague outbreak. That's not good. Do we have a physician? No. Are we going to get a physician? Yes, in one turn. Fine. We'll deal with it next turn. We can cure it later. We've got a big outbreak in Pathragada. It's going to revolt in 4 turns. We can remove the unrest with this doctor and not cure the plague, but just make everyone a little bit happier, I suppose. And while we're doing that, we're also going to get some lovely culture because we've got plague cults. We did it on a place with a temple. There is the beautiful temple behind the look of decay and decrepitude. Our pikemen beat their swordsmen because pikes are just better. Okay, Parsa just looks like it's all dead. The capital, Madrid, the capital of Spain, it probably should fall to us. For that purpose, I've authorized the construction of a grand bombard to blow the bloomin' doors off.
You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off.
Oh, the Black Death. It's definitely in the old world. It seems like the new world has been almost entirely spared. That's not fair. That's unreasonable. Uh-oh. Yasod Ararapura is about to revolt in just a couple of turns. That's not good for them. At this point, I think it's possible now to declare war without any repercussions. Let's declare war on the Mongolians. Because actually, they are soft and weak, and we will destroy them. Yeah, because we've got really good guns, actually. Whoa, one set of defenses has fallen instantly. There's only the central district of Taekwondo left. Excellent. We'll keep a bombard here ready to deal with. Oh, that's a lot of stuff, isn't it? Okay. We may have bitten off a little bit more than we can chew here. It's not impossible. It's not impossible. It'll be fine. We'll be fine. Plague, be cured, please. We're having to send these physicians around all over the place to cure things. New World is pretty fun, though. I like how the medieval walls here do look slightly different to the walls in the old world. Because of all the palm trees, we've got these palm huts on the walls. And they are really fun. Very fun indeed. Alrighty. Let's go wham blam, thank you ma'am. Even the Spanish tercios are no match for our pikemen. They might have guns, but our sticks are ever so slightly longer, maybe? Hard to say. I think we can get to the end of the age before losing any cities. At least I hope we can. Mongolian city, we've hit it with the bombard. That is good. Let's now charge in with the pikemen. I think this should finish it off. Well, it's at least knocked out all of the defenses. We've not finished it off, but there's nothing left here except the Mongolian cavalry. And once that's taken care of, we can just roll over the city. Plague is everywhere in the old world, though. Our core cities, yeah, Tyre, everything has just got hit really hard. I can see now why we didn't have any policies in the crisis that were entirely negative. They were all kind of good and helpful and useful. But that's because we kind of needed them to be good, helpful, and useful because the plague hits us so damn hard. Oh my goodness me. I was not expecting this in a civilization game. I was not expecting this level of plague nonsense at all. Did we do it? We built the Borrow Buddha, and that's unlocked, well, we've unlocked some civics, but mainly here, we've completed the science path. We now get a science golden age. Awesome, awesome. We're still going for military conquest. Don't you worry, ladies and gentlemen. Don't you worry. I think given it's at 97%, our final future tech will just knock it out and we'll be done with the age. So the settlements we have just have to hold for like a tiny bit longer. Luckily, we've got proper walls and kind of has made them impenetrable to the puny Spanish attacks. Whereas our attacks, yeah, they've been pretty darn devastating. The plague also seems to be infecting my cursor. It keeps changing into just the regular one every now and then. Let's go for lazarettos, buildings, improvements, and districts in coastal settlements with a dungeon and not damaged by major outbreaks. You can put everybody in the dungeon, right? That's fine. They'll like it there. I want everyone to attack this city center. We'll soon break through, hopefully before the darn thing revolts. If it revolts before we get there, I'm going to be really miffed. Excellent, excellent. That means the age has now been done. We have achieved peace in our time, or something like that. And we were so close to taking Madrid. Everybody's attacking. We just couldn't quite grab it. That's very upsetting. Our galleon beats the Mongolian cog, though, completely devouring it. And that is it. We didn't quite manage to take out the Spanish capital, but we were within an inch of grabbing it.
In the library's solace, its rustling pages, its murmured debates, the Abbasids found the voice of genius that summoned them to greatness.
We've grabbed a lot of things, age ranking wise. Okay, we weren't the most cultural, that was Augustus. We were the most economical, the most military minded, and the only folks to get to enlightenment. Legacy wise, everybody else kind of sucks right now, and we've got a lot of wildcard points, I'm pretty sure. Taking a look through the civilizations we can pick here, we don't have access to quite a few. Meiji Japan, actually militaristic scientific, that sounds like it'd be a lot of fun. Economic expansionist America is probably not going to be what we want in terms of military world conquest. Meiji Japan, Prussia, or the French Empire are all apparently the militaristic ones. Maybe we should get our Napoleon with Garde Imperiale and just take everyone out. Though the Japanese have some great things. Mikasa here, a Meiji Japanese unique heavy unit. The first time it's destroyed, it respawns in the closest settlement you own at 50% HP. 50%. I mean, that's not terrible. We also get access to production and gold with the Meiji Quarter, meaning that you get +1 gold in production on buildings adjacent to this Zaibatsu district. The French get the Avenue, which is a combination of happiness and culture, and then gives +2 happiness on all quarters. That's quite nice. Garde Imperiale can make a ranged attack, but it is an infantry unit. Oh, wow. Hold up. Wait. It's an infantry unit with a ranged attack. We get this one because we did something right. I can't remember what it was. I think it was the wine. Probably the wine. Mughal have the Sepoy, which can make a bombard ranged attack. Maybe that's better. We get 75% extra gold, but minus 25% of everything else. I'm not sure I want that reduction. Liberté, Égalité, Fraternité for the French gives us the celebration effects of any standard government from the modern age. I like that. And we would get the Jacobin for basically a great person. America get some additional gold, Marines, Industrial Park. You know what? I'm split here between the French and America. I kind of feel like America needs to conquer the world, but it also looks like I'm going to have more fun playing with these ridiculous Garde Impériale units, so I'm going to choose the French Empire. Here we are for Liberté, Égalité, and Fraternité, brothers and sisters of the Third Republic. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the modern age. A period of rapid industrialization following the plague has now begun. We get rail stations and factories to create a bustling network of trade. We can get flight and become a science leader. We can adopt an ideology and spread its message via conquest. You're darn right we're going to be doing that. And we can guide explorers to activate artifacts and enshrine the world's culture. So what do we need to do? First, we need to study a political theory. Then, with a political theory done, we need to get the ideology civic and research combustion, or any ideology civic. Then we have to get flight and capture an ideological enemy settlement, so the enemy has to get an ideology as well. Then we have to start scoring ideology points. So we score 10 ideology points by capturing settlements. Once adopting an ideology, settlements of a civilization without an ideology are worth 2 points, and settlements of an opposing ideology are worth 3. Oh, and we just have to keep going until we've conquered enough to win the game. This unlocks the Manhattan Project Wonder and the Military Victory Boost. Once we get the Manhattan Project, we probably just win, I'm guessing, which would be sad. I like using nukes to win. We could go for a science victory here, which basically looks like, yeah, it's going to be spaceflight, the normal one. We're going to go into space for science. The culture victory here is all about getting the best museum in the world, whereas the economic victory is about building the best railroad, getting 500 rail tycoon points. That also sounds fun as well. Let's track our progress in all of it. Okay, we're starting with 228 science and 251 culture. That's more than anybody. Madrid is back to pretty much full health, annoyingly. And I wonder where our castle is. Oh, we've got new resources. There's rubber. There is citrus. We still haven't gone for this ivory before. Is that what I think it is? Yes, coal. The iron deposits have now become coal. Ooh, and that is oil. We almost certainly will need oil for something. If I know civilization, oil is necessary. I wonder if there's any uranium around here. We've already got an oil rig. Wow, that's kind of cool. We have to start by choosing our legacies because the modern era has begun. Welcome to the third and final French Republic. The Third Republic will last for 1,000 years. Probably. Enlightenment Golden Age. Universities become Golden Age universities. They retain their base yields, adjacency bonuses, and effects in the next age. Oh, good. Yes, we want that. Plus 3 science per turn for each quarter. Holy moly. Yes, indeed. I want that. We can change our capital to Roma and make it Paris. We can call Roma Paris. Yeah, I think let's have Paris be the old Roman Republic. I'm going to go with plus 10 production for settlements in distant land, as well as economic attribute. Yes, I think those are the legacies. All right, let's level up here then. So, plus 1 diplomatic. Let's make it easier to get the city-states on side. I'm going to go with plus 50% there. And I wouldn't mind getting an additional 5% gold. Repeatable, that's good. Let's refund specialists. Yeah. And then for scientific, I think what's going to benefit us the best, plus 1 science on each quarter would be very good. Is it better than 15% production towards constructing building? Probably not. Let's take the buildings. Because we've already got the best science in the game at the moment, so I'm not too worried. Is that T? It's a factory resource. What is a factory resource, I wonder? We've already got quite a few towns to grow right out of the gate here. Capturing this right at the end of the previous age. Honestly, super lucky. Oh, so beautiful. We can now start grabbing mountain tiles as well. I quite like that. The mountain tiles give us loads of happiness. Oh, yeah, oodles of the stuff. It looks like the city-states are all gone, actually. Oh, Oh no, I didn't realize all the city-states have now gone. So if we didn't capture it in the previous age, it basically does not exist now. We've got 14 out of 20 settlement limit. I think I'm going to start them with a settler, possibly. Yeah. Field cannons, cuirassier, mortars, Garde Imperial, already ready to go. Oh, and 1,000 resources. With the new age comes new resources. In the modern age, factory resources are critical to your economy and the railroad tycoon legacy path. To slot a factory resource in a settlement, it must have a rail connection and a factory. Only one type of factory resource can be slotted into a settlement at any one time. We're going to put some pearls in there, some nice resources, boost the happiness up. Our other city, Baghdad, that definitely needs some happiness as well. Beautiful. Okay, everyone's happy now. We don't have any factories though, really, do we? Okay, choose a government. Authoritarianism, plus 30% production towards training military units for 6 turns, plus 3 combat strength for all units for 6 turns. That's nice. Bureaucratic monarchy, plus 20% gold and 30% relationship change for endeavors and sanctions. Okay. And then elected republic just gives science and culture. I want to conquer the world. We are the Napoleon. I am the emperor. Let's take a look at the tech tree, shall we? So, okay, we've got academics. This gives us a schoolhouse for lots of science, and the Oxford University, which gives us 2 free technologies. Wow. The steam engine gives access to the ironclad, and it gives us the ironworks and the port. Military science gives us a military academy and defensive fortifications alongside the Red Fort. Going down into industrialization, we can get the Garde Imperial at level 2. Where are factories, though? Mass production. Oh, we need to get all the way up to mass production in order to get factories. That's quite late. And then armor, a T-gun, assault gun, infantry company, tank, Garde Imperial. Mobilization is going to give us the navy we might need. So armor and mobilization is kind of where we need to get to. Then we've got aerodynamics, rocketry, and finally future tech. First, though, I'm thinking it's mass production we want to push for. Right, academics has been boosted already, so let's finish that off. We can get more schoolhouses for more science that way. Let's take a look at the civic. Political theory unlocks the ideology trees. Okay. And it gives us free speech plus 100% food and happiness towards maintaining specialists. So they're basically free. Because specialists usually cost some food and happiness at this point. All right, nice. And in the French civics, we've got Belle Epoque and Roi Triomphal. Right. Let's start with modernization for the civics, I think. And then we need to pick some social policies. Plus 4 science in all towns. Yep, why not? Plus 3 gold and science for each resource assigned to cities with at least 8 urban population. Yep, why not? All buildings receive plus 1 science adjacency in the city hall and palace. Yeah, let's see what that puts us to. 410 science. Holy moly. Oh, it's beautiful. Capital probably could do with having a grocer. Let's put that over the bazaar. We don't really need the bazaar that much longer. Al-Wazi is in the New World. Let's make that one a city straight away. And now that we've made it a city, we can actually throw the extra resources in. Nice, nice. And I think Gordian now needs to be another city because this is actually a really good town. And we've got lots of units ready to be commanded. Garde Imperial, which, let's grab hold of one so we can take a look. With field cannons, nice, I like field cannons. Garde Imperial has a range 2 attack. It's not that strong, 35, but they're also mainly an infantry combat unit, so I'm not too upset with that. Maybe the first thing we should do actually is just wipe out our neighbor. You know, they're a threat, let's get rid of them. We've got a mortar, we've got everything we need. Yeah, let's bring it all up. What have they got? Who is Frederick, actually? He is Prussia. Okay. Oh no. So, Tecumseh has become America. We are the French. Frederick is Prussia. Augustus is Buganda. And Amina is now the Qing. Fine, I guess. We've got a second army here. Yeah, I reckon we just push on Madrid immediately. I think that's the right call. Let's wipe out any nation which might be a threat. We'll serve them up a genocide they'll never forget. Okay. Is it too soon? Nah. Academics is done instantly. Now we're going to move on to doing the steam engine straight away. And we'll have this army come round the south for a pincer maneuver. They've got field cannons, they've got mortars. Together we're going to crack Madrid wide open. Frederick has been a thorn in our side for far too long. Where's their new capital? There's Berlin. Right. We'll take out Madrid, we'll take out Ravenna, then we'll hit Berlin later. Prussia hates us. Okay, now we can declare war with impunity. Is it a formal war? Yes, it is. Here we go. And we'll unload everything here. Beautiful. This lot are going to be unloaded here. We have Madrid surrounded. It almost fell. Sound the drums. Begin the beat of war. Open fire with the mortars. Oh my goodness me. That mortar is so strong. Holy crap. We have just obliterated their defenses in one fell swoop. Is that it? Has Madrid fallen? 2 mortar shots and Madrid fell. But we still have to get the other districts, of course. First rank fire. Second rank fire, and Madrid has been captured straight away. I wonder if that gives us points towards this. It looks like we got 1 point there. Okay. So maybe taking them out now isn't the best idea. Let's just attack, attack, attack. We've got the armies. It would be a waste not to attack. The mistake would be not wiping them out. But this is a resounding victory. Madrid has fallen instantly. I mean, it couldn't have gone better. Of course, because we're France, we can pick anything we want. Oh my goodness me. Let's go with the culture. I think we'd like some cultural bonuses. I'm going to get living standards. Yes, we've now agreed. Living standards for all. Oh no, the Germans are suffering from war weariness. Sucks to be them. Right, can we just kill stuff? The answer might not surprise you. It's yes. They brought a ship of the line up. I hope that won't save them. Is that an American prospector coming to steal things? Oh, wait a minute. Can they shoot and then attack? No, it does take up both them. It's good, good. But it means we're not taking any combat damage. We deal 18, then they have to attack us back and we just kill them. Their line infantry sucks compared to our offensive forces. Oh, hold up. No, they have returned. I thought they were gone. I am now seeing minor settlements appearing. Okay. But not in the same places they were before. These seem to be new ones. Well, let's make them our friend. We've unlocked the battery of level 1 techs. Let's move up a level. I'm looking here. Maybe we want electricity. No, I kind of feel mass production is where we want to get to. And to do that, we need combustion and industrialization. Let's start with industrialization. That gives us a rail station, a very important building here, because it's going to allow us a lot of fast movement. We're running down the Prussian stragglers. There they go. On the northern front, how are we doing? Bring the cannons all the way up to the front and shoot everybody in the face. If the Second World War were to happen in this reality, Berlin and Washington, D.C., if either nuked each other, would probably both receive fallout. So, just something to ponder on. Okay, the upgrade here, the Garde Imperiale, after we've done industrialization, is taking them from 50 and 35 range, 50 regular attack, and bring up to 55 and 40. That's a +5 bonus. Pretty nice, pretty nice. America wanted an alliance, and we stood firm and said, no. No, America. No. Try out our new field gun. Well, look, it works. Ravenna is beginning to fall as well. That is excellent. Okay, so Frederick has a proposal. We return Madrid, we get back Sevilla. No, I don't even know where is that? Over there? No. Are you kidding me? Madrid is so much nicer. I don't know what he's been huffing, but it's driven him mad. I think Ravenna may be about to fall now. Oh, so close. Next turn we'll get it. The Garde Imperiale will sweep over them. It's actually kind of a nightmare being this far inland and having to deal with large frigates, ships of the line coming down and attacking us. In Parsa, our old capital, we were dealing with some barbarians. To stop them, I brought an ironclad up the river and bombarded them to death. Generally, that's a pretty good solution for most of these problems. Bigger guns. That's at least what our researchers are telling us. And I, for one, like to listen to my researchers. Oh, our howitzers now have a range of 3. That is particularly nasty. With 2 howitzers trained on this river, none of their ships of the line are going to make it up without getting utterly blown up. So, good luck to them. We've done political theory. Now we can take a look into democracy, fascism, and communism. I'm guessing fascism is going to give us lots of military bonuses. Yes, it finishes with the military-industrial complex and the scorched earth policies, granting us more combat strength when attacking, more yield and HP from pillaging, and 50% production towards all military units, +1 gold maintenance. Democracy looks to be all about, let's just check on this. Culture, yeah, that sounds reasonable. And then I'm guessing communism is all about production. Yep, communism here is somewhat about the defense of the motherland and happiness while at war and towards special projects. Okay, so it's kind of a mix. I think if we're going to be emperors conquering the world, we might need to research fascism. I will need to study this ideology civic to go up on the path here. Alrighty, we've unlocked the factory technology, basically mass production. So we can now build factories. Settlements with a rail connection and a factory will be able to put factory resources into their slots. Awesome. We've been issued a challenge, get 30 military units within 13 turns. We've got Berlin surrounded on both sides, and there it goes. Berlin has now fallen, leaving just Sevilla left. We're bringing up some larger weaponry to deal with this, some cruisers, and some brand new dreadnoughts. Germany want peace. Germany can't have peace. Massive inland field guns are very, very excellent at taking out these ships of the line, just like we saw before. This time, they have absolutely no way of coming and fighting us, though. Researching flight now brings the fighting to the skies. Air units can strike targets on the ground and bombard the enemy cities from great distances. There are bombers, siege units of the air, attackers designed for attacking land and naval units, and fighters instrumental in intercepting enemy air attacks. Ladies and gentlemen, I am saddened to report not only is America an elected republic, but it's also communist. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Washington, D.C. has fallen to an insidious invasion of ideas from the inside. And, we're definitely not the bad guys, so we're gonna go and liberate them with some brand new ideas. We have armadas forming. Very soon we're going to get radio complete. After that, there's just mobilization left, followed by aerodynamics, and we've basically got all the technologies. We can do masteries to improve all of our siege strengths and that sort of thing, combat strengths, etc., but we don't actually have to. Our Guard Imperial is now the premier unit in the theater of conflict. Ignore the fact that there's tanks, land ships on the other side, as well as proper fighters and bombers, but yeah, it's fine. It's all going to work out brilliantly. The city-state of Herat has just bent the knee. We can either get partisan units, or we can construct shore batteries. Shore batteries give us additional production and ranged combat strength, and add one to the range of siege and ranged units on the tile. Tell you what, these shore batteries sound pretty darn good. But we can also get +1 ranged combat strength to ranged and siege units, or +1 combat strength for infantry, cavalry, and naval units for every city-state we are suzerain of, which I believe at the moment is at least 3, possibly 4. I think I'm going to go with Artillery Master, even though the shore batteries sound really fun, because that's going to give us a global bonus. It's We Love the Leader Day. Let's get +3 combat strength for all units. And we will denounce the military presence of the communist Americans. That will reduce our relationship and make it possible for us to declare a quick war against them, giving us very high levels of war support right at the start. That means our war exhaustion will be low and we'll be ready to win. I thought we were ready to attack. Unfortunately, the volcano Mount Nagaraho, that one's just exploded and dealt significant damage to our Garde Imperiale stationed right next door. It's fine though, it's really fine. We'll just bring up some more tanks and deal with it in our own way. Holy moly, we've just been handed a massive bonus here. Arni has just become our city-state, and that means we can pick the Artisans League, giving us +1 science on every science building for every city-state we are suzerain of. We start at 657, let's pick this, and that's put us up to 712, an extra 70 science from just one city-state. Wow. Simultaneously in the new world, our tanks are ready to roll on down the line. Here we go. The word Lightning War springs to mind, and boom, that is a city turned over to us. We're now up to 10 ideology points for military here. We only need to capture another 3.5 cities from our enemy. We've got bombers, we've got biplanes, we've kind of got everything. Let's hit them with trench fighters. That leaves just the tank really to roll in, and in it rolls. There goes Washington, D.C. Our direct attack with numerous assault guns completely withered the defenses. It then fell to the Garde Imperiale, who of course have done a great job as per usual. Alongside Fum Snay. Once we've grabbed both of those, well, let's just say I think the game might soon be won. And there we go. With Toothy's Hatoe fallen, we now have victory within reach. We've completely unlocked the military legacy path of the modern age, which means once we build Operation Ivy, everybody else will have to surrender. In the town of Gordian out in the desert, we're going to do the Manhattan Project. It'll take us 3 turns, and then we'll have access to nuclear weaponry. Plus, this is a big plus, this will also unlock Operation Ivy, allowing us to, I think, win the game / build hydrogen bombs. Looking here at the city numbers, if we take just one more city from anybody, we will have more than half of the cities on the entire planet. That is a respectable number of cities, if I do say so myself. Frederick would like peace. I think it's time to let him have his final remaining city. With the completion of Operation Ivy, none will be able to challenge us, and we will have won the ultimate victory. We'll also produce nuclear weapons absolutely everywhere that we can. Yeah, that'll be fine. The big guns are about to all fall silent. Operation Ivy is almost completed. We're getting very close to a science victory as well. I'm just about to launch a satellite from the capital, our very own little Apollo project, in the year 1854. But before that, we will have achieved world peace through strength at arms. It's important to note here that we did entirely take over the heartland of America. Every previous capital of our one-time friend Tecumseh is now under our control, along with the island chains in between the continents and the west coast of the New World entirely. Deep out at sea, we complete a thermonuclear detonation, heralding in the age of the atom and Xerxes, King of Kings, time in the sunshine.
The sun has come to Earth. Uncountable hopes, dreams, lives, all vanished in a blinding light. Victory comes with a cost.
Victory everlasting. There we are, ladies and gentlemen. All 3 ages and then a military conquest victory. Don't forget, if you want to get your hands on Civilization 7 and also support this channel, you can do so by following the link down in the description below. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see another video specially selected for you by the YouTube algorithm, click the video on screen now.